Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Belmont Park here on Monday. It is May the 28th, 2018. Gonna look at all the stakes races on today's program from Belmont. But before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world. I'm gonna look at all the stakes races on today's program from Belmont. Races 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9. They're all state bred races and they're all good races. Let's get on to it. Starting off with the third from Belmont. The third race is the 40th running of the Mount Vernon. Purse $125,000. It's for fillies, mares, 4-year-olds, and upwards, New York breds. Field of 10 horses, but the number 4 horse, Frosty Annie, is a main track only, so just keep that in mind. We did get some rain on Sunday, but Sunday into Monday, the evening, I don't think we're going to get any more rain, and I think we should be good for the turf races. The ground's going to be a little wet, maybe good. You're not going to see a firm course, but you're going to see good, maybe soft at the worst, but most likely good. So just keep that in mind. They're going the distance of ground here of the 1,600-meter trip, or the distance of ground of 1 mile on the Widener turf course. 1,600 meters, 1 mile. My top selection here, I like the number 7 horse, the number 7 Tizzly. Gonna go 7-9-5-8 in the superfecta. 7-9-5-8 super. Top pick number 7 Tizzly. 5-2, Joe Bravo's on this 5-year-old mare by Tisway. This horse's most recent outing came on the 14th of April. That came at Aqueduct, a mile on the inner turf course, and allowance race 75,000 against non-state breds. This horse won by 3.5 lengths that day. Broke about mid-pack that day, a little bit wide after stalking most of the race at the second turn, but had a great turn of foot, and he got there, winning by 3.5 lengths off a layoff. All-around decent effort for this horse at the end. Before that, against state breds at Aqueduct, mile 16th on the outer turf course, up to 40 claimer. Horse won that day by 2.5 lengths, 65 cents a dollar. Broke about mid-pack that day, closed up well, great turn of foot, and it was a nice victory for this horse there. And then at Belmont, mile 16th inner turf course in the Ticonderoga in the fall showcase for the New York breds. Horse finished 4th by 2.25 lengths, sat about 4th most of the race, and just really couldn't get that good closing kick that afternoon. Against here on Belmont on the Widener, this horse is 4-2 with 2 victories and one third place finish. So he likes this turf course a lot. I think he should run a big one here today at 5-2. Watch out for him. Now in a multi-race scenario, I'm going to use my top selection, of course, and I'm also going to use the 9 horse 55. I think he can run a very big one. So to recount my bets for the third from Belmont, it's the 40th running of the Mount Vernon. Gonna go with the number 7 horse Tazil. Hopefully I said that right. Gonna go 7-9-5-8 in the superfecta. I'll go 7-9 in a multi-race pick 5, pick 4, whatever you shall play. So now let's get on to race number 4 from Belmont. Excuse me, throat's a little sore today. Today's 4th race from Belmont. It's the 5th running of the Critical Eye Stakes, purse $200,000. It's your fillies, mares, the 3-year-olds, and upwards New York breds. Field of 9 horses going the distance of ground of 1,600 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile on the turf course. 1,600 meters, 1 mile on the main track. Excuse me. Brain fart. My top selection here on the main track, I like the number 4 horse Holiday Disguise. Gonna go 4-2-1-9 in the superfecta. 4-2-1-9 super. Top pick number 4 Holiday Disguise. 9-5. I already teased juniors on this 4-year-old filly by Harlan's Holiday. Horse's most recent outing came on the 12th of May. That came here at Belmont. 6.5 in the grade 3 Bargain C handicap. This horse finished 3rd by 4 3/4 lengths, and as the favorite had nothing that day. Inside trip most of the race and just didn't show up. It wasn't his day to win. Before then, the distaff handicap at Aqueduct, 7 furlongs, April 6th. Horse won by a length that day. A little bit wide, but this horse had a great turn of foot at the end to get the victory. And then before then, Heavenly Prize Invitational at Aqueduct, 1 mile, March 10th. Horse finished 2nd by 6 3/4 lengths. Divine Miss Gray, who won, had a great run. This horse was just a little bit wide and wasn't catching her that day. But this horse is 3 for 2 here at Belmont. The only loss came last start out. And also, she's nearly undefeated against state-bred horses. Her only loss came in her first career outing at Aqueduct on the inner track in March of 2017, where she had a horrible trip on the outside and horrible, it was just a horrible race. But after that against state-bred, she's been pretty perfect. She won the Bowery a year ago here at Belmont on the showcase day, and I just think at 9-5, she could really run a big one. Now, the price, 9-5, is not a great price, but I think you're going to have to take it, so watch out for her. Now, in a multi-race scenario like the pick 5 or pick 4, I would go with the 4-horse Holiday Disguise, and I would maybe use the 2-horse Highway Star because her last run a few weeks ago in the Ruffian was a very promising run, and I think she could run a big one also. But to recap my selections now for the 4th race from Belmont, it's the 5th running of the Critical Eye Stakes. Gonna go with the number 4-horse Holiday Disguise. I'm gonna go 4219 in the superfecta. So now let's get on to race number 6 from Belmont. The 6th race, it's the 41st running of the Bowery Stakes, purse $125,000. It's for fillies 3-year-olds here. Field of 11 horses going the distance of ground of 1,400 meters, or the distance of ground of 7 furlongs on the main track. 1,400 meters, 7 furlongs. My top selection here, excuse me, I like the number 3 horse, Pure Silver. Gonna go 3972 in the superfecta. 3972 super. Top pick number 3, Pure Silver. 5-1, 3-year-old filly by Mission Impassable. Jean Velasquez is on this one. This horse's most recent outing came on the 21st of April. That came at Aqueduct, 6.5 furlongs in the New York Stallions. Horse finished 5th by 5.25 lengths that day, and had a horrible beginning that day. I think this horse, all this horse's chances lost at the beginning. He stumbled at the start and really couldn't recover that day. It wasn't his day to win off the layoff. Before that, the 16th of December at Aqueduct, 6 furlongs in the New York Stallion Series. Horse finished second by a nose that day and ran quite a good race at the end. Great turn of foot, but again, he didn't break all that well. He hit the gate coming out, but like I said, his turn of foot at the end was very nice. And then at Aqueduct, 6 furlongs in the Key Sun Stakes, 24th November. Horse finished second by a length. He closed up well at the end, a little bit wide, but it was a decent turn of foot. He's 3 for 2 here at Belmont. You know, he won the Lynbrook here last summer for 2-year-olds, and he broke his mane very nicely here at Belmont last summer against Daybred. I like him a lot. He's a very speedy horse if he breaks well, but also if he doesn't break well, he's a little versatile horse because he can come from far behind. I like him a lot here at 5-1. I think this is a good price on this one, so he'll be my best bet of the day. I would single this horse in a multi-race, so watch out. So to recap my bets for the 6th from Belmont, it's the 41st running at the Bowery. Gonna go with the 3-horse Pure Silver. Gonna go 3972 in the superfecta. So now let's get on to race number 7 from Belmont. The 7th race, it's the 39th running of the Mike Lee purse, $125,000. It's for 3-year-olds. Here, New York breds, field of 10 horses going the distance of ground of 1,400 meters, or the distance of ground of 7 furlongs on the Belmont main track. 1,400 meters, 7 furlongs. My top selection here, I like the number 7 horse, the 7-horse Avenue. Hopefully I said this right. Pardon me if I don't. I'm sorry, I can't speak English all of a sudden. But my top selection is going to be the 7-horse Avenue Malin. I have no idea. I'm going to go 7829 in the superfecta. 7829 super. The number counts more than the name, really. But the 7-horse at 5-1 here. 3-year-old colt by Into the Mischief. Jose Ortiz on this one for Jeremiah Engelhardt. This horse's most recent outing came about 2 months ago now in the Bayshore at Aqueduct. 7 furlongs, April the 7th. Horse finished 3rd by 4 3/4 lengths that day. You know, stalked early, was a little bit wide at the top lane, and had to lead for just a tiny second, but the National Flag, who won that day, had one of the best turn of foots I've ever seen in that race. Second best turn of foot behind Lost in the Fog and the Bayshore from 2005. But the National Flag put on a show that day from that in the final 1/8 of a mile. This horse just really couldn't get to him. But coming here with a step down in class, I like this horse's chances a lot. Before that, he ran the Nashua at Aqueduct 1 mile November the 5th. He finished 3rd by 5 1/4 lengths that day. A little bit wide and just didn't have the best runs. He was very inconsistent that race. And then before that, in the Champagne at Belmont 1 mile October the 7th, horse finished 7th by 10 lengths. Really didn't get there. Just wasn't his day to win as the 3.5-1 favorite. But just keep in mind, that was a very tough group of horses. The 1, 2, 3 actually ran back into the Derby a few weeks ago. Friends Fire, Good Magic, who ran a runner-up in the Derby, and Enticed ran, I think, about 12th or so. But Enticed won next start out, and Good Magic won next start out in the in the Brews Cup Juvenile, but this horse just wasn't catching him that day. But he won his two starts before that very easily. The funny side at Saratoga very easily by 2.5 lengths, and he won a main special weight Saratoga very easily. I like this horse here a lot of 5-1. Watch out for him to run a big one. So to recap my bets for the 7th from Belmont, it's the 39th running of the Mike Lee. Gonna go with the 7 horse. Gonna go 7, 8, 2, 9 in the superfecta. We're gonna head on back to the turf race number 8 now from Belmont, the 8th race. It's the 40th running of the Kingston, purse $125,000. It's for 3-year-olds and upwards. New York breds here. A little bit of a fun fact: Kingston used to be the capital of New York before Albany many years ago. Kingston's I've been there twice or so, and to a mall there, which is very nice. When I was like 6 years old or 7 years old. It's been about, let's see, it's been about 18 years since I've been to Kingston, or probably 17. So hopefully soon I can get there again. I'm not planning on it though. It's there was a mall there years ago. Now, probably boring place, but I'm starting to sound boring. Field of 12 horses here in the Kingston. 12 horses main track only, so we'll be down to a field 11 if this race is on the turf, going the distance of ground of 1,600 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile on the Widener turf course. Sound like Gary Del Bate. It's clearing my throat. My top selection here, I like the 6 horse, the number 6, Offering Plan. Gonna go 6, 11, 3, 7 in the superfecta. 6, 11, 3, 7 super. Top pick number 6, Offering Plan. 2-1. Javier Castellano is on the 6-year-old horse by Spring at Last. Horse's most recent outing came on the 8th of April. That came at Keeneland on a very wet turf course. Mile and a 16th and an allowance race for 70,000. This horse won by a half length that day. Did have the best of trips early on, but it was wide at the top of the lane, and Javier Castellano rode a great race in the stretch run. He timed it perfectly, and he got there. A very nice victory for this horse off the break. I think coming here to Belmont, facing the state-bred horses, which are not nearly as tough as that particular Keeneland race, I think this horse really put on a show. Before that, at Belmont, mile 16th inner turf course in the Mohawk last October, horse finished second by 1.5 lengths. He closed up well after a little bit of a wide trip that day. The inner turf course at Belmont tends to be more towards speed horses. For this horse to close up to get second that day was quite impressive. And then the Shadwell Turf Mile at Keeneland, a mile 2 weeks earlier, horse finished 7th by 4 3/4 lengths. Didn't have the best of starts, way out of it. He closed up a little bit at the end, but it wasn't enough to win. The winner, Sodas, horse from England, just ran a little bit better. But he ran this Offering Plan ran this race last year and won it by a length, closing up well after a little bit of a wide trip. But he's a nice horse here. He likes this turf course. I think he should run well, so watch out for him. So to recap my bets for the 8th from Belmont, it's the 48th Kingston. Gonna go with the 6 horse Offering Plan. Gonna go 6, 11, 3, 7 in the superfecta. So now let's get on to race number 9 from Belmont. The 9th race, it's the 6th running of the Commentator. Purse $200,000. It's for 3-year-olds and upwards. New York breds. Field of 10 horses going the distance of ground of 1,600 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile on the Belmont main track. 1,600 meters, 1 mile. My top selection here, I like the number 8 horse, Diversify. I really think he should run a big one, and so I'll single him in a multi-race, but I'm going to go 8-5, 2-10 in the superfecta. 8-5, 2-10 super. My top selection, number 8, Diversify. It's 9-5. Jose Ortiz is on this one for Rick Violetta Jr. This horse's most recent outing came about a month ago now, 5 weeks ago. On the 21st of April at Charlestown, I'm on the 8th in Charlestown Classic. This horse finished 7th by 26 lengths. He set the pace early on, and he hit the wall completely that day. I backed him that day, but he just ran a shit race at the end. It wasn't his day to win. I think second off the break, he should really run a lot better here at his home base. Before that, in the Clark Handicap at Churchill, I'm on the 8th November the 24th. He finished 4th by 3 1/4 lengths that day. Wide post draw. He got sent to the lead, and then he got caught right at the 8th pole. He just hit the wall. I think that distance was a little bit too long for him that day. And then here in the Jockey Club last year at Belmont, Mountain Quarter, October the 7th. Source won by length that day, and he was on lead all throughout. He weakened a little bit at the end, but he had enough in the arsenal to get through the final eighth of a mile. But he won that day. But I personally, I don't think he's a standard mile and a quarter horse. Here at Belmont, it's not a standard mile and a quarter because it is basically a half and a 1.5 turn mile and a quarter, not a 2-turn race. And speed usually does the best at that distance. And this horse took advantage of it, winning. But personally, I just don't think he's a mile and a quarter. I think he's a great miler. And then before that, Evan Spidman at Saratoga Mile late August 21st. He had speed from the inside. He won by 11.5 lengths on a lead all throughout. Very easy victory there. He finished second in this race by a nose last year behind Weekend Hideaway. This horse was very, very wide, which I think cost him the victory, but he ran a great race other than that. I like this horse a lot here today. He's been training well since the Charlestown Classic. Watch out for him to run a big one. 9.5, horrible price, but you're going to have to take it. Single to multi-race. So to recap my bets for the ninth from Belmont, it's the 6th running of the Commentator. Gonna go with the 8-horse Diversify. I'm gonna go 8-5, 2-10 in the superfecta. So good luck to all. Please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck, everybody.